Hi everyone, welcome to the Q&A and I hope you're having a lovely summer so far. Now I've got a really important announcement that we've only got 2 intakes left of the 6-week course. Now the 6-week course, if you didn't know, this is how everybody starts with us. And the reason we do it is because it gives you a really good trial for what we do, but it also makes sure that we can get you into really good routines and you feel supported, nurtured, you know how it all works before you join the inner circle. So we're setting you up for success. So this is exactly why everyone comes through on the 6-week course. And we've only got 2 intakes left. That is Monday, the 25th of August, and Monday, the 1st of September. And this is for 2 reasons. Number 1, I'm expecting a baby. And I will be having a very short maternity. Squaddies, I'm going to let you know the plan in September and it's going to blow your minds. It is so good. I don't think you'll be expecting it at all. But my maternity will be very short. I love what I do and I'll be twiddling my thumbs and I'll miss you all. So that is one reason. And I want to make sure that I can support everybody fully and give everyone my 100%. And the other reason being is we're basically pretty much almost at full capacity. So I really can only take 2 more courses on. So that's the reason why behind it, gang. So 2 reasons why. But if you have any friends, if you're part of the squad, if you've got any friends who would benefit from what we do, please let them know. Please let them know. And I can honestly say, I really don't think they would ever look back. I really don't. It's just a life-changing experience. And I don't think you can fully describe properly what we do until you actually come on board and experience it for yourself. You know, we're not online fitness classes. We're really not. We're so much more than that. And based on that, have you seen the announcement, squaddies, for our September focus? We are going to be having little breakout groups. There are a few different focus groups. We're going to work consistency, or you can work strength, or you can work stress, depending on where you're at with your fitness journey right now and what you need. So it's a way to get closer coaching. It's a way to get more support already within the squad. Obviously, no extra costs if you're a squaddie. It's just what we do. We want to give you everything we possibly can to help you stay motivated, accountable, and inspired on your fitness journey. So look out for that and keep on going with your August challenges. You're doing great. And I'm loving seeing all the selfies pop up. It's so nice. Okay, let's get into everything Q&A wise. Oh, and by the way, if you are interested, or if you're pregnant, or you just like to know behind the scenes, I have done a trimester 2 pregnancy podcast. So things that I've done in trimester 2. One thing I was kicking myself about that I didn't mention was teaching wise. Now I really haven't changed anything teaching wise. Like I haven't really had to. Okay, there's been a few adaptations. There's been a few adaptations, like you'll notice in Stronger on the chest track, I'm on an incline. Aside from that, that was one thing that I was, oh, why didn't I mention that? So I haven't really changed anything in terms of my own teaching. And you know, if you come to class, you probably noticed that. Lorna's got just as much energy, and that's because I have. So yeah, just a bit of something interesting. Of course, I can't do things like crunches at the moment, so crunches will be coming back. And you'll notice when I go away, put a live replay on, I'll give you a 6-pack workout. Okay, not that the other ones don't work your 6-pack, by the way. Just saying, you'll still work your core and everything else. Anyway, let's go on to the questions before I keep blabbing. Now, I'll split it into sections as always. We're going to start with exercise and training. We'll go into nutrition. And then at the end, I'm going to do something really important, actually. So please hold on, about energy. I've had a lot of questions about energy. It's essential for motivation. It's essential for getting the most out of your training. So yeah, really important. So question number 1, how important is counting steps? Now, I just want to say that counting steps can be really powerful for your awareness. So it's like an awareness tool. And research shows that anything around about 7,500 plus per day is linked to better cardiovascular health. So you'll be deemed active if you are doing about 7,500 plus a day. Now, if you are nowhere near that right now, all I would say is take where you're at and increase it by 20% until you do get into an active category where it's beneficial for your cardiovascular health. That's really important. So if your steps are very low, yeah, it is really important to try and push it into this bracket for your well-being. And it's also important for your mental well-being. But having said all of this, and by the way, the 10,000 steps came from a Japanese marketing campaign. So if you're thinking, oh, I thought it was 10,000. No, it's not. It's actually lower than that. And also don't forget, please, that this is on average. So you can take your week as a whole. So a lot of people find, or I speak to a lot of people who are more sedentary during the week. Maybe they've got office-based jobs, and as soon as they get home, then they're making meals. By the time they finish making dinner, wash the pots, it's 9 o'clock at night, and then we want to sit down and relax. And it ends up being a bit more sedentary during the week. Now, I would say try and find your windows of opportunity to get some bite-sized movement in there. I would absolutely do that. And our classes are perfect for that. Also, things like a lunchtime walk. Block out that lunchtime for you. Get some steps in. Have your lunch and do 15-minute walk after. Or take, walking meetings or calls, walking. Find you a little bit of movement. But remember, it's on a whole. So if you're more sedentary during the week, you can pull it up at the weekend. So do some longer walks at the weekend. Make sure you're pulling it up. So on average, you're in that active bracket. Anyway, steps aren't actually everything. They're a good measure of how you're moving outside of structured workouts. So your steps are your kind of like your non-exercise activity. They're your movement. They're your general movement. Okay, walking the dog or pottering around, moving around the house, running errands. They're your general activity. The classes of the workouts are like your structured training, where we are structured training, where we are working your strength, where we're working your cardio fitness at a bit of a greater rate, where we're working your mobility and your core strength. So they both have different purposes, and you actually need both of them. So I do quite often, I speak to some people who say, oh yeah, no, I'm doing enough exercise. I walk every day. I'm thinking, so it's, you've really got to think about your overall health and well-being. You need both of them. So think of steps as like the background rhythm, and your day-to-day workouts are like the melody on top, if that makes sense. Both essential. How many classes per week are most effective? Oh, and actually, wait, just before I continue, if you have no idea what your steps are, you can roughly work it out, roughly. How many steps would you roughly do walking, like an hour's walk, for example? And if you have no idea and you don't want to faff around and try and work that out, just get yourself a cheap pedometer from Amazon, a cheap pedometer, clip it on, see where you're roughly at, and then you'll have an idea. You might find that your rough steps every day are about 12,000. Like, hey, great, you probably don't need to count every day. But if you put it on and you find that your steps are 4,000, ooh, okay, that's a useful tool. Now I'm aware. Now let's do something about it. So it can be a really useful tool. Anyway, moving on. How many classes per week are the most effective? This depends on your goals, what your recovery is like, where you're at with your fitness journey, and how long you've been doing this for. Are you really used to working out every single day, or every single day bar, let's have at least one active rest day, please, minimum recovery day, minimum 1 day at least. But research shows that, roughly 3 to 5 structured sessions per week does hit the sweet spot. And that is for improving your fitness, improving your strength, your energy, how you show up, and supporting your weight management as well. I always say, if you're a beginner or if you are really short on time, 3 of our online sessions a week, great, perfect. Our sessions are 20 minutes long. Short, fast, sharp, fit them in. Or what you could do is you could do more sessions, but do the bolt-on ones, which are all under 10 minutes long. So you could say, right, every day, Monday to Friday, I'm going to start my day with a 10-minute workout. Great. Anything is always better than nothing. Gone are the days where we need to be doing 30 minutes, 40, 45 minutes, hour workout to be considered enough or decent enough. No, it doesn't work like that. It's what you're doing overall that matters, and the fact that you're getting movement in at regular intervals where you can. That's important. Consistency is important. If you're more, say, intermediate, advanced, that might be where you either, say, for example, on our timetable, you follow either the first classes or the second classes, and that's how I structure it. So I structure it so you've got the perfect balance. So if you did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off the first classes or the second classes, you get a perfect balance of strength, cardio, holistic. I take the thinking out of it for you. Or if you've been with me for a really long time, you might think, well, actually, I want to do 40 minutes a day and I want to do the double. I want to do the first class and the second class, either live or on demand. And they also both complement each other. So when I make the timetable, it really is like trying to work out a puzzle. But I put so much thought into it so you don't have to. Now, it really is about consistency and also making sure you're doing a good mix. So how much time have you got? What are your goals? If your main goal is to prioritize strength, okay, well, make sure you're doing 3 strength classes a week then, 2 to 3. 2 is the absolute minimum. If your main goal is to be able to run around with your grandkids or your kids, you're going to be wanting to do some strength, but you're also going to be really wanting to work on your cardio health as well. If one of your main goals is to run a half marathon this year, okay, well, we want to be looking at your strength, your mobility, and your core. So therefore, you'll be upping those sessions a little bit more. But for everyone, as a rule of thumb, and this everybody, I would say minimum 2 strength classes a week, wherever you're at. Even if one of those strength classes, say you're a beginner, one of those strength classes is a Pilates class, so using body weight, doing things like bridges, okay, fine. Ideally, it'd be using equipment though. But that's kind of what I would do. And I would say that's a very effective combination. So it really depends on you, and it also depends on what is realistic for you, definitely. I think the best thing you can do is try and get yourself into a routine, because then you don't have to think about it anymore. It just becomes part of your week and part of your day. So as you know, I always say plan your classes on a Sunday for the week ahead. Always, always, always. And if you don't already, well, you're setting yourself up for failure. So let's plan our classes ahead. Even if, there needs to be flexibility, we need to change it a little bit. It's not at that exact time, whatever. Plan your classes for the week ahead in your journal and make sure you're getting a good mix in there for you and for what you're trying to work towards at the moment. And make sure it's realistic as well. Don't go in there and put 6 workouts when you know full well that last week you struggled to get 2. There's no point in doing that. So let's just do something that is sustainable for us right now and have your range target, your non-negotiable minimum, no matter what happens. Even if on Sunday evening at 9 o'clock at night, I am doing these workouts, these are happening. That's your non-negotiable, your promise to yourself. And then at the other end of the scale, you have your ideal week. And that might be on an ideal week, I'll come to the 6 a.m.s every day, something like that. Or I'll follow them on my time every day. And that's what I'm going to aim for. If I hit it, fantastic. If I don't, I've got the safety net of my non-negotiable minimum. Anywhere in between is great. How do I best increase from 1 to 2 sessions a day? Do I just get on with it, or do I phase it in? Am I overthinking this? You're not overthinking it at all. And actually, the body does need time to adapt. So doubling up on sessions too quickly, it can increase the risk of injury, fatigue, which we really don't want. So what I would do is, you could do it 1 or 2 ways, actually. So you could start with 1 or 2 days where you do a double. So you do the first class and followed by the second class. So 1 or 2 days where you do that. Or you could do 1 or 2 days where you do the first class and then you do part of the second class. Or you could do it where you do the first class and then Harvey's just being picked up for school. That's what we call it, school bus. Off he goes. You got your rucksack, Harvey? Harvey's my dog. Now, yeah, what you could do is you could do a bolt-on. So you could do the first class and then a bolt-on afterwards and build it up like this. And, I always make sure the classes complement each other. So if you did stay for the second one, it will complement the first one and vice versa. So you can always just do part of it and increase it bit by bit. Now you'll find that your recovery improves and your recovery time improves as you get fitter too. So as you're starting to overload your body and do more sessions, the body is very clever. It will adapt, but we don't want to do it too fast because it can lead to burnout. It can lead to injury. So we just want to make sure that we're doing it at a good rate. And at a good rate for you as well. Listen to your body. How are you recovering? Okay, I had a couple of questions regarding tight hamstrings and then just injuries in general. So let me just talk about injuries in general, because this can happen to us all. Of course, we have to be careful. We have to make sure we're practicing strength, practicing mobility, getting adequate rest so our body doesn't, over fatigue. And particularly at the start of your journey, you'll find that you will need more rest at the start, and that's okay. That's normal. So when you get an injury, how do you cope with it, and what do you do? Do you work around it? Do you wait until it's completely gone? Now, it just depends on the type of injury. So if it's an acute injury, so like a really sharp pain, or it is new, or there is swelling, rest. And I always remember the physio told me, give it 48 hours of rest. And then if it lasts any longer than 2 weeks, that is when you need to go and see a professional. You need to go and see a physio. So you've got that time, 2 days complete rest. And then if it's still painful after 2 weeks, you need to go and see somebody. If it's like a tightness or a dull ache, you can quite often train around it. So say, for example, if your knee's playing up a little bit, okay, we'll go do some upper body. go to our upper body section, do some upper body, or you can even go to the desk workouts. The flexibility of what we do and the variety of what we do means there's always something that you can do. Or if your shoulder's playing up, okay, well, let's just do some lower body today. Let's go on lower body booty band, or let's do some Pilates, or let's do some yoga that doesn't include any upper body, that kind of thing. Or let's do some dance fitness and just not put the arms in. There's so many things that you could do. Or let's do some power walking, indoor power walking. Lots of things you can do. So I always say, focus on the things that you can do and give that area a rest. Give that area a rest. Like if any type of movement though, any movement makes the pain worse, obviously just stop, avoid, 48 hours rest. If the movement kind of feels neutral or it helps generally, it's a safe thing. But really, as you're coming back from injury, that's when you want to take things really steadily in terms of the duration, in terms of the intensity, and build it back up slowly. But what I would always say with injuries is, of course, you need to seek medical advice. Like, I am not a medical professional, I'm a fitness professional. And you do need to seek medical advice. But generally speaking, with injury, the body heals best when there is some sort of blood flow and mobility going around, like maintained. So the general rule of thumb would never really be, unless you've had an operation or something, that's pretty severe, to lie down all day. Generally speaking, a little bit of blood flow really does help injuries. And the other one was about tight hamstrings. So the question, just very quickly, I can no longer kneel properly. I thought I was doing enough exercise for this not to happen. So tight hamstrings, usually that wouldn't mean that you struggle with kneeling. That would probably indicate it's more your hips, your hip flexors, your quads that are tight if you're struggling with kneeling. There are a few things that you can do. Of course, you can be doing as much exercise as you like and you can still get tightness building up. That could be a weakness in some areas. And quite often, the hamstrings will feel tight. So they'll feel tight because they are overworking or compensating for something else, like weaker glutes or core. And it's like a protective kind of tension, and it's the body's way of adding stability. So sometimes it indicates a weakness in another area. So in that case, it might be core or glutes. It could be the fact that your hip flexors are really dominant. If you struggle to kneel, that would probably mean more your hip flexors and your quads. If they're tight, maybe from a lot of sitting or a lot of walking, a lot of exercise, your pelvis can tip forward. So you can have this anterior tilt, which lengthens the hamstrings. So if you hold onto your hips now and tilt them forwards, you can almost feel the back of the hamstrings getting longer. So it lengthens the hamstrings and makes them feel tight, even though that they're not short, if you get what I mean. And sometimes it can be your nervous system. It can be holding like a protective cone in the muscles. So instead of stretch all the time, I'd be thinking of strengthening the glutes. So maybe doing things like booty band, see how that feels, and maybe stretching out the front of the body, like the hips, and see how you get on. But again, you've got to really kind of be in tune with your body here. See how your body feels. And then really the best thing to do is go and see a professional who can actually look at what's going on here. But there's just a few tips if you want to try and work out what's going on for yourself, like at home. Now, I'm just going to move on to the nutrition section now. So we've got 3 quick fire questions. Should I take magnesium supplements for better sleep, or should I focus on foods? Now, magnesium is such a brilliant mineral, but it is key for relaxation, for muscle relaxation. And yes, it does help with muscle function and also with sleep. So a lot of research suggests that when you take magnesium supplements, it helps you get into a deeper, more restorative sleep. As always, though, I would always say food before supplementation. So magnesium-rich sources are in your dark leafy greens. They are in your nuts and your seeds, your beans, your whole grains, and actually also in dark chocolate as well. But if you're not sure and you want to supplement it, supplements can help if your diet is a bit lacking. Make sure you go for magnesium glycinate. That is the best for sleep and relaxation. And magnesium citrate is more for your digestion. So magnesium glycinate, and add in some foods as well that are high in magnesium. And also make sure it's in the tablet form, as opposed to spraying it on your body, on your feet, or on your muscles. That is more for muscle relaxation. If your aim is for sleep, you want to be taking it orally. How do I manage eating family style when I'm unsure about food portions? So, family style meals can make it really tricky and make it really tricky to balance an intake. But just in general, if you're unsure about food portion size with family, or when you're going out with the family, make sure you are prioritizing protein first. So get that protein portion secured on your plate, and you want about a palm size of protein. If you're not sure, go to the nutrition section and we've got a portion size guide in there. You also want to think about filling half your plate with veggies or salad. So if you are on a weight loss journey, you've got the volume there, but without the, say, excess in calories. And then make sure you are eating it slowly. So it usually takes about 20 minutes for the body to realize it's actually full. So eat it slowly, chew more, put your knife and fork down. And if there is limited food, can you top up with extra veg, water? Can you take some healthy snacks with you? Every time I go on holiday, our suitcase is loaded with snacks. So just make sure that you're prepping in the best way, and you can always get some things in while you're there as well, of course. But just in general, in terms of protein sizes, palm size of protein, fist size for carbohydrates, and thumb size for fats. And like I said, you want to be thinking of filling your plate with veg, salad. So think about volume and eating slowly. So your body actually acknowledges the fact that it has eaten enough. And you can apply that to if you go out anywhere. If you're going out and you're not in control of your food, you're being dished out a plate and you don't actually know if that is going to be too much. Maybe it's too much food for you. Well, use the hand method here. You've got your palm, you've got the fist for carbohydrates, you've got the thumb for fats. Remember what I said about veggies and salads. Does it matter if I drink most of my water earlier in the day? No, not necessarily, not at all. I mean, hydration is about your total intake over the day. It's not necessarily like a perfect timing thing. You might find that drinking earlier in the day helps you sleep better at night. You might find that you're actually more active during the day, you're busier during the day, your brain's more active then, and that's when you need it. So no, that's not a problem at all. Front loading earlier on the day can be absolutely fine. I would say probably reduce maybe a couple of hours before you go to bed. So I wouldn't be having like gallons and gallons before you go to bed, unless you need it, of course. And generally speaking, make sure that you're spacing it out where you can. But if you need to have more in the morning as opposed to later on, totally fine. And always make sure that you look behind you when you go to the toilet and just check the colour of your pee. You want that really pale, light straw colour. How can I boost my energy when I'm exhausted? And another question I got asked about energy, coincidentally, was what's the best type of exercise to increase energy? So I'm going to kind of merge these two together. So when you're feeling exhausted, if you need a quick lift, as in the moment, I just need some energy right now, here are a few things that can help. Number one, sharp breaths in. So snap some breath in. That gets oxygen into your brain fast. It engages the sympathetic nervous system, which tells your body to be alert. So get some oxygen into your body, big breaths in. Another thing that you can do is just get outside, go on a really quick brisk walk if you can, or if you can't do that, get yourself on the bolt-on area and do an under 10-minute workout. It will boost circulation and it will boost oxygen to your brain. Also, you can think about grabbing a snack, but something that is going to be nourishing for your body, something that is high in protein and maybe like complex carbohydrates, something like apple with some nut butter, or carrot and hummus, or yogurt with some oats or something like that. So we're thinking about stabilizing our blood sugar levels rather than giving them a quick spike and then a crash afterwards, which obviously we don't want. We're wanting to improve our energy and actually kind of keep it there. So we want to be thinking about foods that are going to support that too. Now, the best type of exercise you can do is just in the moment. If you want to get onto a class on demand, I honestly think power walking is the best one for a quick energy boost. I really, really do. And if your energy levels are low because you've been under a lot of stress, you might want to do something that supports your nervous system and your stress levels, your cortisol levels a bit better. Therefore, you might want to get yourself on like a yoga or a yoga escape class just to kind of bring things down a little bit. And of course, cardio is going to give you that boost in your circulation, and strength training is going to, in the long run, help to stabilize your blood sugar, build muscle, and balance your hormones. So in the moment, if you need something, I would say a power walking or maybe a yoga. And then the long term, I would say this is what you want to be doing. Long term, make sure you're prioritizing sleep. Sleep is the foundation. Generally, most people need about 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. Some people are fine on a bit less. Some people need a bit more. So it just depends on you. And sleep sometimes can be a thing that is out of our control. So if you've got little ones, or if you're going through the perimenopause, menopause, or you just struggle with sleep in general from time to time, sleep can be a tricky one to control. So if sleep is something that is out of your control, do the best you can with it, but don't stress too much. Let's focus on other things, which are staying hydrated. Even like a tiny bit of dehydration, just like 1-2% can reduce your energy massively. So make sure you are hydrated, you're having enough water. Manage your caffeine intake and try, if you can, to keep it sort of before or around lunchtime. Try not to have it later on in the day. My cutoff point is normally, well, now that I'm pregnant, it's 5:50 in the morning. But but before then, I used to say, right, nothing after about 2:00. Otherwise, it does start to affect your sleep a little bit. Then I would be saying you want to be making sure you are strength training. It really improves the efficiency of the cells in your body. And in terms of your training overall, you want to be doing 2 to 3 strength classes a week if you can. And then cardio once or twice a week, and a mobility restorative session, once a week plus, depending on your current goals and depending on where you're at right now. If you're very stiff, you're very stressed, you're going to want to do more than one. Or if you work out a lot, you do some hard sessions, again, you need to support the body and your mobility. You're going to want to do more than one. So it depends on where you're at. But if you focus on these things, and of course, one really important thing that I haven't said is your food intake. What do your meals look like? Are you having enough? Are you having proper balanced meals? Are you sitting down? Are you chewing your food? Are you actually working while you're eating? Or are you taking the time to not be in front of the screen, to eat properly, to honor that time for you to actually have some food and focus on what you're eating? What are your snacks like? Are you reaching for quick sugar, knowing that you're going to have this, get a little boost of energy, and then feel absolutely rubbish afterwards? Can you set yourself up better? Are you going for really long times without eating and then wondering why you're having an energy crash? Or are you not properly fueling yourself throughout the day? You're grabbing some toast in the morning and then you're not really having a proper lunch, or you're snacking through the day and then wondering why your energy levels are absolutely poop, and you're having a massive meal. And then, as soon as we've finished dinner, then the Maltesers come out and the crisps come out while watching TV. And then it's a rinse and repeat cycle. Are we actually eating properly throughout the day? Now, that mix of all the things I've spoken about will help you on so many levels. It will reduce your stress. It'll improve your digestion, improve your sleep. It'll improve the quality of your nourishment, and also the efficiency of your training, and most importantly, your energy levels. So all different things that you can do there. Anyway, team, I hope this was really useful. Please do let me know. And I hope you have a fantastic, fantastic rest of your week. And I will see you in class again. Take care, everyone, and have a good day.